Hey everyone, welcome back to the Cool Water Show. We are back for the second time this week. We are in our 40th episode and we are bringing in our 40s with some rage. It is the Rage Against the Machine episode, and in this case, the machine is the women of Salt Lake City. So, hi, my name's Kari. I'm here on behalf of Silent Podcast, where you're anything but silent. I'm joined by my co-host, Katie. Katie, how are you?
You know, I'm ready. I'm good. I'm ready. I said to you on Twitter earlier, I'm locked and loaded. I'm drinking a Diet Coke in honor of the queen of Salt Lake City, Lisa Barlow. I'm good. I'm in a different mood than I was yesterday, for sure, talking about Potomac, because the Salt Lake City women, they just like boil my blood. My blood is boiling. I was like fine right before we started podcasting, and then you mentioned someone said it was a good episode, and then I like got into an immediate rage. So like now I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
I promised a lot of people an angry Katie, and
they're gonna get
you were
one.
Like too happy, so I was like, we need to
do like a little nailed it
warm up.
You know why? Because I was just watching Miami, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm so in a good Housewives mood, and then I remembered everything that's horrible about this show, which is everything. So now I'm angry.
A friendly reminder that Miami is so good. Before we get into just a whole ton of complaining, Miami, so good.
So good. I'm finally on the reunion for season 4. I'm ready to start season 5 very soon. So I'll be up to date and ready to start podcasting about it in like 2 days. So
I'm here.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. I love it.
My Christmas gift is talking about Miami.
I love it. I love it.
All right. Well, we're just going to get into this. So if you're here for a recap, you're at the wrong podcast today. Mm-hmm. Sorry. I know a lot of times we recap what happened, but
guess what? Nothing happened. So there's nothing to recap. Yeah. There's nothing to recap.
The plot isn't worth a recap, I guess, because the personality and character traits of the majority of these women is just overwhelming and not in a good way.
I can't think of a cast of more unlikable people than the cast of Salt Lake City. Like every single one of them, except for Lisa Barlow. Lisa Barlow deserves a raise. She's carrying this whole season on her back. She is everything and more. She's the only iconic housewife from Salt Lake City. As much as the others think they are, or trying to be, or are wearing their own merchandise with their own stupid catchphrases, it's not working for you. It's not working for you. Maybe you just be like naturally funny and good on TV, like Lisa Barlow. She's also great on Twitter. She's ripping everybody apart on Twitter. She's incredible.
Yes. Her tweets have been... Yeah, maybe we should start here. Lisa Barlow.
She's been shredding Jen Shah.
Oh, yes, I saw that. Because Jen Shah, like, tweeted a picture of, I almost called her Heidi, of Whitney, like, kissing. I don't know why.
Yeah, her insurrection friend.
Yeah, her friend who was at the insurrection. And then Lisa was like, oh, yeah, Jen, here's pictures of you with that same woman. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it was incredible. She also, Jen Shah tweeted that Lisa blocked her, and she's like, oh, you don't want to go? Like, come on, I'm ready. Let's go. And it's like, well, you didn't show up to the reunion, you fucking loser. So maybe you should have been ready to go there, but you didn't. So I don't know what you want. And Lisa unblocked her and then fucking handed her ass again. So like, stop coming for Lisa on Twitter. She's going to eat you up and spit you out.
I mean, all honesty, like, I haven't seen Lisa do something wrong. Every time someone calls her out, she's like, here are the receipts for why I'm not lying. I am right. And yeah, like, even in the kind of shitty way she did it with Heather and her father passing away or whatever, I don't know, at the end of the day, she was still right. And
she's right.
Seen what I've seen of the rest of these women, even if that was done kind of a shitty way, I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, I actually don't care either. And you know what? Like, it's public information, and she just tweeted it out because of the date. Like, get over it. She didn't really do anything that wrong. Like, she wasn't talking shit about your father who died. She wasn't saying, she was just saying, look at the date, and this is the date that I texted you. Like, you're lying. You're lying on me to make me look bad. So here's the truth. Sorry. I mean, like, yeah, maybe it was not like full of tact, but whatever. Is Heather? No, she's not. So like, I've never seen a bigger fall from grace than Heather Gay.
Yeah. She really had the likability, the relatability factor going for her throughout, especially the first two seasons. Like definitely season one, probably like halfway through season two, but season two is like 4.5 years long. So it's easy to
Yeah.
lose that. But we're at this point, and this last episode, they tease this black eye throughout the season, like trailer, and we get to finally the season where, or not the season, the episode where, okay, let's talk about Heather's black eye that she mysteriously got. But that's thing, it's still a mystery.
I'm
She
taking deep
won't tell
breaths right
us.
now. I'm taking deep breaths because of how infuriating. I before we even get to the black eye, there's so much about Heather that I have to say that is just so like I don't know if we talked about this last season, but I have had the thought in my mind. I don't know if I said it back during the reunion, but there's season Heather and then there's reunion Heather.
Yes.
And she's a different person at the reunion. And I feel like that's really who she is. And she's not putting that mask on while she's in this season. She is just being awful to everybody except for Meredith and Jen for some reason this season. And I feel like season 1 and season 2, Heather was giving us like, oh, look at me, I'm so relatable. You want to be my friend. I'm Heather Gay. But it was all an act. And now she's dropped the act and she's just being an awful person. And that's who she, the reunion version of her really feels like it's the real version of her. And we're finally seeing it because she just, what, can't keep up the act? Like, I don't really know.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't know, even like reunion Heather seems different than the Heather we're getting now, where I'm just sick of her bullshit this
She is so
season.
smug.
The the way that she ignores Whitney, and like Whitney's like basically begging her to be treated well, and Heather's like, "Well, I don't know. What do you want me to do? Like what? I'm just get out of my face. I'm deflecting. I'm doing like I don't know. She's just like not a good friend to Whitney, the one person who's been a good friend to her.
Well, that's because she's ride or die with Jen, Kari. She's
Oh,
not
fuck
ride
the
or die
phrase
with Whitney.
ride or
She's ride or die
die.
with Jen. I am ride or die for Jen. I'm ride or die for Jen Shah. She's my ride or die. It's
Yeah,
like she's
she's
trying to be on the challenge. She says
she's
ride or
really
die
putting.
more than they say ride or die on the challenge. And they say ride or die on the challenge a lot.
I'm so sick of that phrase. So sick.
Yeah, it's over. Well, that's the other thing. I think I retweeted it, but Lisa Barlow, I thought of you, tweeted like it's over, like it's played out. Stop saying ride or die.
Yes. Heather is definitely putting the die in ride or die, with maybe covering up for Jen, who may or may not have given her a black eye, who may or may not have fought her
Um,
on this trip.
I'm pretty sure she gave her a black eye. Like, there's no other plausible explanation to me other than Jen Shah did it, especially the way that she was just like openly lying to Meredith. As soon as she walked in the door, like, you can see that Jen Shah is guilty of whatever it is that she's being accused of by the federal, whatever, the FBI, what else? Who else came? FBI,
New
CIA,
York City,
NYPD,
yeah,
DEA,
yeah.
whatever. Anybody that's accusing her of anything is telling the truth.
NYU.
Yeah, exactly. Because she was like, okay, we're coming up with a story. A spider laid eggs in your eye. Cool, got it. Meredith, come in. I don't know. It's like, no, you fucking know because you did it. You did it. And the editors kept panning to her face every time Heather was like, I don't know what happened. So it's like, obviously, Jen did it.
Yeah, I believe that 100% that Jen did it. I just don't understand why Heather is not saying something. Is it to prove your allegiance to someone who's, I mean, she hasn't been sentenced to jail yet at this point, but is going to go to jail?
I don't know. You're really tying your wagon to like the wrong horse here because Jen Shah is a fucking loser. I don't even know where to get started. I can't even like articulate my thoughts clearly because I hate every single one of them so much. The fact that I'm on Whitney's side and she's one of the least annoying to me this season is like reason enough for me to be angry at Heather because I can't stand Whitney. And now I'm like, you know what? Whitney's okay. No, she's not.
Yeah. Can we talk more about the black eye?
Yeah. I'm all over
Why
the
the fuck you
place.
on a reality TV show? And you're not going to tell us what happened.
And if you don't want to talk about it, stop fucking talking about it. Because she brought it up a bunch of times. So stop fucking talking about it. You know what? You're the one talking about it. Stop talking about it. Stop. Stop talking about it. And if you didn't want to talk about it, get on a flight and take your ass back to Utah and be like, oh, I had an emergency. I had to leave. Sorry. And then just leave. And then no one would know about it. But instead you're like, I think we all know what happened. We just don't want to talk about it. It's like, no, actually no one knows what happened except for you and probably Jen because she beat your ass and you're not telling anybody.
Yeah, I didn't even think of it where she could have definitely just
leave.
Left and
Just leave.
Then, yeah, hey, gotta lay low for a few days.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that as an option.
Or like, say you have COVID or something. You can make, there are so many excuses in the year of 2022 that you can make. There's no excuse for you to sit on camera and say, I don't want to talk about it. Then don't be there. Then leave. You can leave. You can very easily leave.
Doubling down on it is one thing in front of everybody to be like, I'm not going to talk about this. I need time to process or whatever. But in your confessionals to also still be like, I'm not going to talk about it. It is called a confessional because you're supposed to confess. It's literally in the word.
I'm just angry at the producers for not being like, are you not going to admit that Jen Shaw punched you in the face? And she'll be like, what? And just say it. Just say it. Just say it out loud. Somebody has to say it. They know what happened. The producers know what happened. Like, you can't tell me that they don't know what happened.
There has to be footage, right?
I don't know. Because it was in like a Nest camera or something that they were leaving. Yeah. But Jen was the last one to leave the room. And I didn't see a timestamp of them leaving. I saw a timestamp of them coming in the room. So, like, did Jen stay? Like, I really don't know.
Yeah, I thought we saw Jen leave in.
We saw her leave, but like, was she leave? It seemed like she was the last one out and like left by herself. It didn't seem like she was leaving like in a group with everybody.
Yeah. I don't know. I was so infuriated that there's all this build up to this black eye, and then more of the episode was about Lisa Barlow's businesses and these whatever like CCS filings. I can't even remember the letters
SEC.
Because I was I don't know. I knew some SEC. Yeah, whatever. Next week it'll be 3 different letters of a filing because they're so obsessed with taking her down that I just can't believe that we had a black eye, a potential fight, and we're focusing on Lisa Barlow.
For legally raising money for her business and legally filing an SEC claim. Like, Jen Shaw is sitting in a Sprinter van. Jen Shaw looking up paperwork of Lisa Barlow's business and the SEC claim that she made when you are about to probably go to jail for what, like 15 years or something, I hope.
Did you see that she just asked for a sentence to only be 3 years?
If they grant this to her, well, I don't have faith in the justice system anyway, but like this will be proof that there's really no faith to be had here. 3 years? I don't. Also,
Coach
everything
Shaw
she owns is fake. Did you see that? They raided her house and all of her bags and everything's counterfeit.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Coach Shaw said that when she did this, she was at her lowest because he was constantly away and the people that meant the most to her had passed away. And it's like,
okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I guess everybody in that situation would go turn and defraud the elderly. That totally makes sense.
Yeah, I mean,
you're right, Sharif. You're right. He can go too, by the way.
Some of my my actions, I guess. Next time I get sad, I have to just go commit crimes.
Multiple felonies, yeah.
Yeah, I get that he's defending his wife, and I guess you're honoring, like, vows and shit, but is it worth sinking your own social capital?
He's gotten off too easy. The way that we, myself included, malign Erica Jane for the crimes of Tom Girardi, she's, I think, mostly been proven innocent for the most part in the court. I don't really know. I haven't really been following, but I know she, got off a couple of times, although I still don't believe it. I think she knew. We should be treating Coach Shaw the same way that we're treating Erica Jane. And we're not for some reason. And I'm guilty of it. He seems like a nice guy. He seems supportive. But like, bro, are you for real?
So
Like, this
he
is really what we're doing?
supposedly kept his finances separate of hers the whole time they were married.
Yeah, why did he do that? Because she was committing crimes.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to
Which,
be implicated.
yes. Yes.
I mean, what married couple with children? Maybe people do keep their finances separate. I don't really know. But there's got to be something joint. Like, well, they don't own a house, right? They rent their house. So, like, I mean, I don't know. The whole thing is crazy. DM Rocks asked us if we saw the reunion looks for the season. Did you see? I saw them.
I quickly saw them. I'm not one to like care, to be honest.
Well, I cared last season when they were a goddamn disaster. This season, they're like fine. They're just.
Yeah. I don't know. It's either like, oh, that's ugly, or it's fine, or it's nice. Like, those are my three opinions.
I think Angie, both Angies actually, I like their dress. And what's the other girl's name? Deanna?
Something like that.
She looked good too. But the rest of them, Whitney, no feathers though this season.
Jen's look was great.
Yeah, her pajamas at home.
Speaking of Jen, my anger this episode was very much directed at Heather, but for their trip in wherever the fuck they were, I don't even remember.
San Diego.
Thank you. In San Diego, I hated Jen Shaw. I could not stand every single action or thing she said. I was like, get this woman off my fucking TV. When she poured that drink over her friend's head.
Yep.
And then was mad that people were mad about it.
Yep.
Imagine if someone did that to Jen Shaw. They would end up like Heather with a black eye.
Yep. Absolutely. She is completely unhinged, and she sucks the air out of the room in every scene that she's in because she freaks the fuck out and she just starts screaming in people's faces. And then she's like, oh no, I didn't yell at you, or I didn't push you, Lisa. When it's like, clearly you did. Oh, I accidentally threw your shoe off the boat. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Why is she still on this show? Edit her out. Edit her out. She shouldn't even be on, like, she's horrible. She's horrible. She used to be like a funny presence, and I found her to be more likable. But like over the last 6 episodes or however many episodes, she has just been a complete living nightmare. And then it topped it off the fact that she had the audacity to question Lisa's business when look at your life. Look at your choices. She legally raised money for a business and made a filing, and I'll get into Meredith too, but like it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, are you the pot or the kettle? I just don't get it. And why are they so loyal to her? Like, why are they so obsessed with her? What does she have on Heather and Meredith that they're like, oh yeah, no, she was just being funny dumping that champagne on Angie's head. Like, that was not funny.
No, it was done with complete malintent.
Yes, 1,000%.
Over a room. And I think it was Whitney in a confessional who said, like, Jen always gets the nicest room. And now here we are with this. But I was so disgusted by her behavior. And honestly, like, why are you, okay, I shouldn't say this. I know why you're choosing to be on this season, because you need money, because your former source of money has been seized by the government. And so I get that, but I don't think she's doing herself any favors by being on TV during this, because what? Like, you literally just asked your judge for a 3-year sentence instead of the 7 years that you're probably going to be serving. And it might come to light that you punched your friend in the face.
Someone? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, and you also were blackout drunk on a boat, throwing people's shoes overboard, which is littering, by the way. Like,
true.
Give her a ticket for that.
And what, like, isn't it damaging some? Isn't it damaging someone's property too? Like, I don't know.
And
That can't be
I know
legal
we
to
said
throw
this
someone's like $1,000
yesterday.
shoe off a boat.
Right. And I know we said this yesterday. We don't know if throwing a drink at somebody is considered assault, but
Punching someone in the face sure fucking is.
why are you putting yourself on this platform to have it used against you? Because there's no way they're not going to use it against you.
Right.
You're not an actor in this, it's a reality TV show. And so, like, there's obviously been people who have been going through lawsuits on the show before. You've got Teresa Giudice, who I think her situation can be considered different because it was more her husband than her.
Yeah, I
And
truly, truly believe that she didn't know.
yeah, I I 100% believe she didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, we know Teresa. You know her now too after watching 12
Yes.
seasons of her. Like, she didn't know.
And Erica isn't the like main defendant in the majority of what's going on. Where Jen Shaw is, and like people who have been on the show with her have said like, yeah, I'm taking a plea deal and I will give you all the information you need about her. And you're still
Yeah.
coming on television. Like, are you not worried about incriminating yourself or just even giving them reason to not like consider you a good person? Because if I'm the judge, I'm tuning in every single fucking
Oh, yeah.
Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
And like, oh, you're a good upstanding citizen, but I just saw you dump a glass of champagne on your friend because you didn't get the bedroom you wanted, and then you threw her sandals overboard.
Right.
Yeah,
And
you
you
seem like
pushed
a fucking
Lisa
blast.
on the boat.
Hmm.
When she okay, so last week I was ready to go in on Jen Shaw, which I think we're doing. I mean, we could probably go in more and harder. But I was ready. I think Heather took a lot of the rage away from Jen for me personally in last night's episode and towards the end of the episode of last week. But for Jen, and I'm not trivializing anybody who has thoughts of suicide or has, tried
Oh,
to take their life by suicide
I
but
forgot
for
this even
her to
happened.
sit on fucking television and use that as an excuse as to why she is acting out and make herself the fucking victim. I'm not saying like maybe she did try and do this. I don't know. But like the audacity of you to trivialize something like that because you committed a crime and got caught and might go to jail for your fucking actions is like so despicable to me. Like it truly made my stomach turn listening to her talk about this. It was like, this is like sick to me.
Yeah, she weaponized suicide
Yes, she
to get
absolutely weaponized suicide.
um who was at that lunch? Was it
Lisa and Heather.
okay, yeah, to get the two of them to feel bad for her
Yeah.
and saying like because and this conversation started because Jen's like, how are you supposed to be my ride or die when you're still friends with Angie Harrington, who made an account that was called Shaw Exposed?
But it was made to talk shit about Lisa. It wasn't even
Yeah,
talking about her. It just had the name Shaw Exposed in the name. That was
right,
it.
right. And so I feel like it's already a stretch that you are upset about this. Like you can be upset about it, but not to the extent that you are. And
Meanwhile,
then to
Lisa's
you,
just like, whatever. We haven't
yeah.
heard Lisa talk about it one time.
Mm-mm. Though to be fair, Heather was kind of funny when she was like, "I'm definitely getting in the go kart with
Yeah.
Lisa because I know she's only going to
Mm-hmm.
talk about herself," and then
Yeah.
it was true. But that's why we love her.
It
So,
is why we love her.
yeah. So for her to then like I completely believe that you are feeling these feelings of despair,
Sure.
sadness, all these feelings that could lead you to try and commit suicide. I I believe that. I'm not going to question it at all. However, I do not agree with the way she told Heather and Lisa about it because it was not in a way where like, yeah, I'm not doing well. I actually tried to kill myself.
Yeah.
Instead, it's like feel bad for me.
This is why
You have
I'm
no
acting
idea
like
what
a
I'm going.
piece of shit asshole.
Yeah,
It's like what it
Yes.
just like it truly made me sick. And the
Yes.
fact that like Bravo even put it on TV,
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, why would you even give light to this? Because whether it's true or not, the way that it was presented was just so, you're right. It weaponized suicide, it weaponized mental health, and it just like it didn't do anything good for anybody, that's for sure. What like so you're using it as an excuse that no one can ask you a question or question your awful behavior. It just that is like it's sick to me. The whole thing is sick to me.
Yeah. I forgot about that. I'm kind of glad I forgot about that. But now that you bring it up, I remember being like, I hate her. I can't. Like, how does.
That's for me, that's when I was like, get this fucking bitch off this show. Like she needs to be
Mhm.
edited out of this show.
Yeah. I don't think that Bravo's doing themselves any favors really with this season
No.
overall.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. This is rough. And I'm frustrated that she's not coming to the reunion. I'm very frustrated because there are things that you can say at the reunion that will not implicate yourself. Also, you've already pled guilty. So, like, what
Hmm.
can't you talk about? What is there that you
Right.
can't talk about? You've already pled guilty. Now you're just waiting for your sentencing. Like,
Hmm.
why can't you come? Why?
Get
I
one
don't get it.
last check, Jen.
Yeah, don't you need it? Don't you need the check? I don't
Hmm.
get it. And there are so many things that are unrelated to her legal issues that she should be held accountable for, and now we're just not getting any of that. And I just like we've had 3 seasons of this show, and 2 out of the 3 seasons someone has not shown up for the reunion. Like this is a problem. This is a
Hmm.
problem.
Do you think that Salt Lake City is on the fast track for a Dallas type of
I hope so.
tenure? Because I'm on season 4 now of Dallas, where so it's we're still pre-racism besides Brandy's comment. Like, I guess, well,
Yeah.
someone told Brandy that something it was insensitive towards a group of people. I'm not going to sit here and
Yeah.
repeat it.
Yeah.
So, um, like the worst is still yet to come, I guess is the best way of saying it.
Is this the
And
season with Kari?
yeah, with Carrie with a K because
Yeah,
Carrie
okay.
with a C.
So you're in for the racism this season.
Got it.
Yeah.
And um, just putting it out there that neither Carrie spells it the right way. It's
It's true.
so, I mean, if you think of things that have happened in that series and things that have happened in Salt Lake City, there we've already have Jenny, who is racist, and um, you have Jen Shaw being Jen Shaw.
And Mary,
Mary, I was about to say as
honestly,
well
bring Mary
that
back.
yeah, at least I mean, given there's probably some like illegal bullshit behind Mary's
Oh,
everything.
no question.
And it's probably good for Mary to be out of the spotlight because I think she would get Teresa Giudice and it would catch up to her being on
Yeah.
TV. So it's probably good for her that she's not on there, but I don't know, just it's fast plummet from oh my god, Salt Lake City is great to like what we're watching. And I will still, and I said this to my manager today, who I was like, they need more time off between seasons. I
Hmm.
understand why they did it, but this is benefiting no one. The season is
Yeah.
benefiting no one except Lisa Barlow.
Truly, this is cementing Lisa Barlow as like the all-time housewife. Like, you know, when there's like one OG that's like the face of the show, like she's
Mm-hmm.
going to be the face of Salt Lake City moving forward. And I would imagine they're going to have to go through some kind of recasting for the next season
Mm-hmm.
and bring in some new women. I mean, the friends of actually are not bad. Angie K and what is her name? Deanna?
Sure.
I'm sorry. I'm about to say that she's pretty good on the show. So I would be fine if at least Angie K maybe was full time. Angie Harrington is like she's the Joker to me. Like I can't even look at her. She freaks me out. And I feel like she's just like a succubus trying to just suck the life out of this show just to make herself relevant. But I feel like they're gonna have to make some changes next year because I feel like these women like can't even coexist with each other.
Yeah, they can't even pretend. Even, I mean, Meredith is fucking miserable to have on this season.
She
Absolutely
brings
miserable.
nothing. She's bringing nothing. This is 3 seasons of her doing and bringing nothing to the show.
Um, before we go off on Meredith,
Yeah.
let's get
Yeah.
some viewer input here because we'll I mean especially Katie will give you her thoughts on Whitney. So Agnot, if I mispronounce your name, and also your avatar is quite interesting. It's like a smiley face with like flames as a nose.
He's
But
like a
anyway, okay.
pumpkin.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but if you want to tell us what that is in the chat too, that's fine. Said, curious your thoughts on Whitney, fairly or unfairly, being labeled as something of Bravo fan coming into it, like a Gina or Noella of the Orange County, and how this next generation housewife affects it being formulaic.
It's a great question. It's a
I
great
feel
question.
like before you start, I feel like you've said that more about Heather than Whitney.
I personally feel that more than I didn't realize that Whitney was being framed as like a Housewives fan, like a Noella on OC. But I
Mm-hmm.
think I'm getting that vibe from Whitney. I mean, from Heather, and I feel like she tries to present herself as this like relatable. I'm a bestie, and it's funny that I'm a fan, but like really, she's just awful. Whitney, I think generally, and I was gonna mention something similar to this, Kari, when you were talking about Dallas, is that I think it's harder than not to be a successful new franchise of the show. I think the problem is going to persist with the new Real Housewives of New York because everybody is so self-aware that they're on the show that it's hard to strike magic like they did with a Beverly Hills or a New York or an Atlanta or a Jersey in the beginning or an OC at the start. And we see people like Noella and Dr. Jen and whoever else come in and add nothing, Gina, add nothing to the show because it's hard to find someone that's going to come in and just be themselves because everybody's aware of the show. If you're trying out for Real Housewives, likelihood is that you're going to watch it or that you're already familiar with the Bravo universe. And the one season and series that I feel like is the exception to this rule is Potomac because
Mm-hmm.
these women are genuinely friends. They
Yeah.
genuinely have relationships with each other. They're funny, they're interesting, and they are not just like putting things on just for TV. And even when they are like Giselle stirring the pot or Ashley stirring the pot, like they're still seemingly being themselves and just like being messy. Where if I see one more Meredith Marks piece of merchandise, I'm going to throw something at my TV screen. Like this should not be what it's about. Like this it's just we've lost the plot and they've just become way too self-aware of what's happening. It's kind of like The Bachelor. I feel like The Bachelor really just fell off a cliff when everybody started going on Paradise or just going on the show to get on Paradise and they all just become way too self-aware that they're in on the joke. Then it's like it's no longer funny and we just have to like land the plane here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
I think
where I feel like we're at with Salt Lake.
I think part of it is, and even beyond Salt Lake, but with just some of, not all, but some of the new housewives in general, is they've seen the success that others have had and how they
Yeah.
can promote their businesses, build their personal brand, their Instagram following, create a podcast where it allows them to branch out into different businesses by having this platform. And not to bachelor it, but like you're not here for the right reasons.
Yeah.
If that's what you're doing, is at the end of the day, like, yes, you're on a TV show and yes, you want to be entertaining, but I feel like I can't believe I'm going to say this. You need more people like Johnny Bananas to come into the Real Housewives who are the perfect level of like, no, listen, I'm
I'm
on, I
listening. I'm listening.
swear,
I'm listening.
I is like Johnny knows he's making a TV show. Same with Wes in a way. They know they're making a TV show, but at the end of the day, they still are presenting themselves and care about the relationships they have, the dynamic they bring, the success of the TV show, where I feel like a lot of the newer housewives are just about themselves.
Yeah.
It's building them and it's not building like the people around them. Johnny
Yeah.
comes on every time and gets a new fucking girlfriend, and that allows him to make a relationship. Like Wes befriends rookies and builds that way. Like it also gives some people storylines where like each of these women, I shouldn't say each, but a lot of the newer housewives I can think of don't successfully like try to build the relationships within the show enough and are there for what the show can do for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need more bananas out of them.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. And I think it's Salt Lake City is like the perfect example of some of the stuff that we're talking about, because every season they have new. Jen Shah's been in a different home every season of this show, because she doesn't own her house. She's just renting these houses to look rich. Same with Meredith. In season 1, she was in a bare, empty house because she didn't live there. Like, this is not your house. You're renting it to look and present something that you're not, to be on this show. And I feel like when we bring people on these shows that are just completely just not genuine versions of themselves, it's just bound to fail. And especially someone like a Meredith, who refuses to talk about anything that has to do with her other than like her nephew, I guess, which fine. Thank you for sharing something. And then to like hold this rant that Lisa made. I'm not going to call it a tirade. It was a rant. And use that as ammo to then just one up her and being a shitty person. It's just like, this isn't something that I want to even watch on the show. Like, it's not making sense. You're going way above and beyond and being a hypocrite. Every single thing that you wear says Meredith Marks on it, or Brooks Marks, or half of NYC, or I love half of NYC. It's just like, dude, you're embarrassing. Like, this is embarrassing. You're a grown ass adult. Like, it's just embarrassing behavior. And you're just doing it for what? Like, to be on TV? Like, how is this helping you? I just don't get it.
So over Meredith in a way
she should be fired. She should have not even been back on the show this season.
Oh, they needed her back.
Season 2, she shouldn't have even been on the show.
Like, because of how soon after the hot mic episode aired that they started filming this season. Like, that's got to be 60% of the reason she's back. But in addition to it being 60% of the reason she's back, it's also like 85% of what she references out loud on this fucking season. And you need to get over it. Like, to say that your husband almost lost his job.
Protects you put the lives of 400 of his employees, or however many, in danger with your why? Because she said her husband can't hold down a job and they don't own their house. They can't afford to buy a house. Like, big deal. What does that have to do with his employees? Nothing.
Lisa's also apologized how many times at this point that, like, if you have her apologize again, you're right. It's not sincere, because I think she did try to apologize sincerely at least once, maybe twice. Yep. But if you're going to keep making me apologize for something that I've already apologized for, and you're not taking any actions to also move forward, then you know what? At this point, I'm not sorry, because I can't deal with this. I don't blame Lisa for anything she has done this season in regards to Meredith, in the slightest.
I don't even think she's done anything. She hasn't. She's just been on the receiving end of, like, being talk shit about her, you know, whatever, having an affair with someone for Utah Jazz tickets and investing into Vida Tequila, and then crowdfunding for a business. It's like, what's happening here? Like, you are one-upping her in every single thing that she said about you, except you're doing it deliberately, and you're saying that you got DMs from random people. And, like, are you not embarrassed to say someone sent me a random DM about an SEC filing, and you're talking about it for some reason and saying that her businesses are not making money? Like, how much more of a hypocrite can you actually be?
She also lies so much, where she's like, I wasn't talking shit about you. I hope at the reunion, Andy's like, well, Meredith, and he says, you know, like, you have your story of loving half of New York, but have you lied as much as you love New York? Let's see.
And then they, like, that as a question,
like a clip counter of, like, she lied here, she lied here, and just, like, tally those up.
Yeah.
Because I think something else that makes a good housewife is someone who, like, talks shit but then also owns up to it in the moment.
Yeah.
And she doesn't do that.
No, she doesn't. Lisa does that, I feel.
Yeah.
And just, I feel like, I know we're praising Lisa a lot on this podcast, but I just feel like the way that she handled them talking about her business, and it was just like, yeah, it was for this. It was not Vida Tequila. This is what it was. And, like, what questions do you have for me? Like, let's talk about it. You want to talk about it? Then we'll fucking talk about it. Yeah, I did it. Whatever. And it's like just completely disarmed them and everything. They just sat there like bewildered because they probably expected her to be like, you talked about my business with them. And she's like, yeah, what do you want to talk about? Let's talk about it. Whatever. This is what it is. You want me to show you? I'll fucking show you.
I feel bad because Lisa toes this line of like wanting to be liked by the people on this cast, but also wanting to be right. And I
Yeah.
feel like for her to be right, she's never going to be liked by the majority of these people because
Yeah.
the rest of these people are just so wrong, not just like objectively, but also morally in what
Mm-hmm.
they're doing, that it's somewhat of a lost cause. And I do see how she's bonded with Whitney this season. And I don't want to hear this bullshit of like, oh, well, Justin's losing his job. And so like Lisa's going through some things too. So maybe that's why they're bonding. And here's the business stuff that they're going through. No, it's because out of her options, Whitney sucks the least.
Yeah, she does. And Whitney hasn't really done anything this season to paint herself in like a terrible light. Like, yeah,
No.
I think that probably her and Lisa are friends out of convenience, and then maybe they actually did become friends through that, because it does seem
Mm-hmm.
like Jen came for Whitney on Twitter and Lisa spoke up right away. Like maybe they
Yeah.
really did become friends from that. But Heather, Meredith, and Jen are like the most disingenuous friendship and clearly are in an alliance, just how Meredith and Mary were last season. And it just is like, this is another thing. You know, I hate an alliance preseason. I hate the Fox Force 5. I hate this pre-existing whatever it is. You're coming in the season and you're like, I'm going to have your back no matter what. Even if you punch me in the face, I'm not going to say that you did it and scratched me all over my body and physically assaulted me at 5 a.m. Like, don't worry, I got you. I'm protecting myself. Who are you protecting? I'm protecting myself. Oh, I never said I don't remember how it happened. I never said
I
that.
hate
You know what? Shut the fuck up. Get punched in your other eye, Heather, and then get off the show. That's what I would like to see. I would like to see someone punch you in your other eye and then get off the show.
No, I agree. It's just I'm so fed up. I also don't like how much these women enable Jen Shaw to be who she is.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know you said you like Angie K, but I would have loved if she actually stood her
Well, yeah.
ground
That I don't understand.
when
I don't understand. Once again, I don't understand the relationship that Jen has with the hold that Jen has on these people, that they
Mhm.
defend her or they just forgive her right away. Like, it's very confusing to me. And I feel the same way about Angie K. But I think she's good for the show. Like, I think she's giving some stuff to the show.
Yeah. I'm just sick of it. Like this has not been a fun season. I've been on I don't really like this season from like episode
Yeah.
2 or 3.
Yeah.
And my opinion has not really changed. I don't have a lot of nice things to say.
I
I
don't have
guess
any
like
nice things to say other than Lisa is really shining through. And like her
yeah.
social media presence is great. The way that she's able to capitalize on this like singing thing is so funny, and like it just feels like this is the way that you make a mark for yourselves as a housewife. Like you do something unintentionally funny. Like Dorinda's a bad example because I feel like Dorinda is funny and says things that are like iconic, but then she takes it to another level and then like becomes too in on the joke. But in the moment, she does these things that are funny. Like, I made it night. Like that was like iconic. Clip was iconic, but then she like had to make merchandise about it, and then it becomes like kind of lame. But Lisa, I feel like did the perfect thing. She made a funny, memeable moment, and now like Bravo's having her on Watch What Happens Live to sing these songs, and Wendy's is making her do ads where she's singing a Christmas song about Wendy's, and it's just like naturally very funny, and she's leaning into it. And it's like, okay, see, this is like how a housewife is made. Instead of like wearing t-shirts that say I love half New York. Like that's not funny. That's like I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for you. Because in one breath you're like, wow, fuck you, my former friend, you said all these things and I hate you, but I'm going to just make money off of it actually. I don't mind it if it's on a shirt that I made.
She also just gives so many funny comments in her confessionals.
Yes. Yes.
Her confessionals are so good.
Yeah, she's great. Even sitting at the pool and being like, all right, I'm going to go get ready and eat a Kit Kat. Like, that's great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't don't know if I have much more to say about Salt Lake City.
I don't think
I
I do. I don't think I have anything more. I just hate it. I just think it's horrible.
Yeah, I don't always want to like come on here and complain, but they gave me no other choice except Lisa Barlow. I think we've done enough complimenting of Lisa, and I think
Yeah.
we've given Whitney some credit in
Yeah.
yeah, she's made me listen to another fucking sound bath this season and some
Yeah, true.
hilling or whatever she says.
Her healing
But
journey, her healing and her fillings.
yeah, some of her stuff has been intense this season.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do think she's justified in most of the stuff she's said and done. She does like tend to stir the pot. She's like a bit. She reminds me of Ashley Darby in a way. Like she tries to
Yeah.
be Salt Lake City's Ashley Darby. She's
I
like the
felt that a
BOGO
lot in
version.
season 1 and 2. Like a lot. This
Hmm.
season, I think it's all just happening naturally
Yeah,
around her and she doesn't really need to put in that much effort. But in the last few seasons, and we talked about it last season too, like I was done with her. I couldn't stand her. She was
yeah,
horrible. This season, I feel like she's toned it down a little bit because she doesn't need to put in that much work because everybody else is just a disaster person around her.
yeah. And the speech that Heather gave about her. Agnat, go ahead, give us your question. We'll
Yes,
definitely take
please.
them because right now we are just tired of Salt Lake City. But the way that Heather even uses their friendship as, well, who am I supposed to tell? I can't tell Whitney because we're on a friendship break or friendship probation. I feel like, oh, because Dallas has like a friendship probation or something too. So whatever one is the Salt Lake City term, with watching both, it's hard to remember.
Yeah.
Ooh, let's see. Agna, our jack o' lantern avatar friend, says,
Hmm.
Coach Shaw. Oh wait, yeah, Coach Shaw. I wrote it. I read it. I'm like fucking Anchorman out here, like put anything on the teleprompter. Coach Shaw versus Erica Jane, totally incomparable partners, or a gender bias misapplied scrutiny regarding.
Oh, Julia Fox posed the question.
I don't understand that
Interesting.
part.
I don't understand that part either. Like Julia Fox, who dated Kanye West for a short time.
Is that her name? The Muse.
Yeah, Uncut Gems. That's Julia. I'm pretty sure that's Julia Fox. But to answer your question, we talked a little bit about this earlier, but I think it's worth digging into the gender bias because, yeah, I think, well, there are a couple of things. I think Erica displayed no remorse whatsoever, like none, and made it really hard to root for her as like the partner of someone who committed, I guess he's not being criminally charged, so I guess we can't say it's crimes, but like, you know, defrauded people.
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly, I guess. But she just really made it she just made it difficult because she's like alleged victims. I don't even know if there are victims. It's like, no, yeah, you do. You know that there are victims. Like, we don't have to
Mm-hmm.
do all this. So I think that makes it hard to give Erica any grace in the situation because she's just kind of being abysmal about the whole thing. But I do think it's unfair because Coach Shaw's not really giving anybody, I'm sorry that this happened to these people and like my wife is innocent, but like it sucks that like he's kind of like he's benefited from not really saying much of anything until he just, you know, pled to the court to give his wife a lesser sentence because she was in a bad place in her life because like people died. Big fucking deal. Not big fucking deal, I
I,
shouldn't say that. But like you don't just go commit
yeah,
felonies when people die.
I
Unless
think like
you're Peter, Alexia's son from Miami.
right. I think the bigger difference in their situations is that Erica Jane was only able to be Erica Jane because of the money
Yes, that's
that
true too.
Tom Girardi brought in through his embezzlement and his fraud, where Coach Shaw was a lawyer for 12 years and then became a college football coach. So, like, clearly he also was bringing in money. And, like,
Yeah.
naturally, Erica Jane was when she started doing Real Housewives, but, like, it wasn't like all of the family money was coming in through Jen Shaw. And then Coach Shaw was living, I mean, yeah, they were living at least what seemed to be a life of luxury. Obviously, we've recently heard that Jen's stuff is counterfeit, a lot of
Counterfeit
like
luxury.
bags and stuff, but it wasn't like he's out here showcasing his wealth in a way that he's like, oh, I had no idea that the money I was using to buy these fancy cars or big houses or flashy jewelry or whatever else you do to showcase your money. He had his own income,
Yeah.
but obviously, I mean, if we're going to, Angie H. Harrington said this, and I agree with her in a way. Like, okay, if you all are going to sit here and say that she should have known that her husband made a fake Instagram account, then Coach Josh, shouldn't you have some sort of idea of what's going on if you're going to point fingers like that? And like, I don't know if Erica Jane knew. I don't know if Coach Shaw knew. I don't know, but I think the biggest difference is Coach Shaw does not openly seem to be able to live his life because of the
Yeah.
crimes that his wife committed, where Erica Jane did not. She would still be like dancing in New York City if it was not for her husband.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with you 1,000%. It felt
And
like, and I don't know if Erica only married Tom for money. Like, I'm not making that accusation, but one could assume, given their age
mhm,
difference, you could assume, I don't know, again, but obviously they were both in a very different financial situation when they got together. And she benefited from Tom's money 1,000%. And then that money turned out to be acquired by defrauding people. And it seemed like Jen and Coach Shaw knew each other when they were young. They came up together. So you're right. Like financially, it didn't feel like one was benefiting from the other as much. Maybe even it seemed like Jen was probably benefiting more from Coach Shaw's money than vice versa. In visually, like that's kind of what it seemed like at least. And I feel like even like a while ago, people had questions of like, how can they have this lifestyle on just like a college football coach's
mhm.
salary, which now we know obviously was not the case. And the lifestyle, I think, was obviously not everything that it appeared to be. Anyway, but it's just, yeah, I don't know. And I think generally Erica's flippant attitude to the situation and just not having any remorse to even say, like, if I benefited from money that came from families or victims of a airline crash's families that was rightly owed to them and now I'm benefiting from it, then like of course I have remorse. I didn't know, but this is horrible and whatever I can do to try and make it right for those people, then I think we would all be looking at Erica very differently than we're looking at her now. But like even she's appealing to get the earrings back. I mean, come on, like just give up the fucking earrings.
Mhm.
And
I
I don't
also
think
think
Coach
that,
Shaw would do something like that. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel
yeah.
like he's as material of a person.
I also think that Katie and I are the first people to call out gender bias or the way that gender could affect something in this, and not to like skip over the gender bias part because I
Yeah.
think that it could, like, I could understand someone being like, oh, of course, like the man's the breadwinner and the wife is like at home living this, like, just has to look pretty for when her rich husband gets home and make sure
Mm-hmm.
dinner's on the table and this and that. Where I don't think that was the case here. And I don't think it's like, I don't think Coach Shaw is benefiting in this from being a man and like getting away with less scrutiny because of being a man. I don't, in this instance, and like, listen, I love blaming men for things. It's one of my favorite things to do in my life. In this instance, I don't think that's it.
I think partially. I think we can give it like a partial percentage of like, yeah, he's definitely benefiting because he's a man and it's the woman who did the crime instead of like
Mhm.
if it was the roles reversed, we would probably be saying like, of course, Jen is such a gold digger. She was only with Coach Shaw for his money and he had to do this to keep up with her lifestyle. No one's saying that about him. And that's what a lot of people said about Erica. So like, I do think, yes, partially he's benefiting from it, but like maybe unintentionally given some of the other things. And it says blame men 2023. And I'm so in agreement with that.
I don't think it has to only be in 2023. I think I've
Yeah,
been doing
forever.
it for a few years
Forever.
beforehand and
Blame men
for a few
forever.
years
Hashtag.
after. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Hashtag just blame
2K.
men generally.
Blame men 2K. And then
Yeah.
like fill in whatever number you want to after.
Yeah.
Whatever
Yeah.
year applies.
Yeah. Exactly.
So love these questions. Thanks.
I know these are
Not.
great questions. Love questions.
Yeah. Do you have anything else you want to say about Salt Lake City?
The only thing I don't feel like I spent enough time bashing Heather for is just the way that she speaks to people, specifically Whitney, and how Whitney has tried numerous times to get her point across, and Heather is just such like she's smug and she deflects and she doesn't let people get their point across, and I just like it's hard to watch on TV because it's just infuriating, and I can only imagine how it feels to be spoken to by somebody like that, like how Whitney must feel in that moment, and she continues to try and save this relationship, and like you gotta just let it go because this is not a person that you need in your life if this is how they act in like one instance of conflict that you have together. Like she's not hearing you at all.
No, she isn't. And Heather makes it seem like this is a one-off and Whitney does not. Maybe Whitney is realizing she's not being heard and Heather doesn't know that she's not hearing her and Whitney's evolving, Heather isn't. Who knows? Or Heather is like caught up in everything she has going on in terms of like becoming this housewife who had like this great perception and was overall well liked and just assume like Whitney's along for the ride, but Whitney isn't willing to be a sidekick anymore. Who knows? Who knows? But
And the way that she puts her hands on Whitney is inexcusable. The way that she pushed her at the lingerie party, which it's like that's a real sentence that I just said, and then like pushed her to leave her house. It's like the same way that Kyle shouldn't have put her hands on Sutton at that party. Like Heather, you need to take a back seat. Have many seats because you should not be touching people in that way. I've never touched a friend that way.
no, me neither. I'm more of a words person.
Yeah, same.
I'm trying to find the text you sent me because you just reminded me of it. You were watching Miami and you were like, I can't believe I just typed this sentence out. Where is it? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do, and I don't remember.
Oh, here it is. Okay, Bo from Big Brother season 6 / Janelle's bestie is at this party with Joe Francis and gets pushed in the pool by the drag queen whose name I forget. That's maybe the most bizarre text I've ever sent, by the way.
Yeah,
I
Bo from Big Brother 6 got pushed in a pool by Evelyn.
Oh,
is
that
the
sister,
drag queen,
right? Oh no!
No, I think it was. I think the drag queen Evelyn, while in drag, is named Evelyn, and then I think while not in drag is James or Stephen or something.
Yeah, that tall guy.
Yes.
Yeah, but it was at a lingerie pajama party type of thing at Lisa and Lenny's house, right? Their new house on like Star Island. Yeah.
Yes.
That was a crazy episode, and then like punches were thrown later. It was like a very crazy 43 minutes of television, but that sentence reminded me of the one that you sent me.
Well, because I was typing it and I was like, I don't even know how to type this to make it sound like something that happened in real life, but like this really happened in real life.
You can watch it on Peacock.
Yeah, you can. Season 2. Yeah, season 2 of
that was definitely season
Miami.
2.
Yeah.
Yes. We're gonna keep watching this, but it can't end.
I mean,
soon
it's our
enough.
duty, you know.
So
we're journalists.
A lowercase J though. I'm a lowercase J journalist. I am not an uppercase J journalist. Yeah, that term should be used very lightly. My research includes Twitter, Instagram, and Reddit. Like
I do not check sources.
Resources outside of Wikipedia. So I do not. I cannot claim to be an uppercase J journalist.
No.
All right. Well, we're caught up on Potomac. We're caught up on Salt Lake City. You're almost caught up in Miami. So we'll probably
be done by like tomorrow.
Yeah. We'll probably do one more one-off of these about Miami, but like,
yeah,
that's going to be a good one. I will actually be an uppercase J journalist for that in terms of doing my research to talk about it, just because I'm up to date, except for I'm halfway through the episode that came out this week. But just to go back and remember things that happened, we're gonna skip season 1. Season 1 sucked, but
I didn't finish watching season 1, to be completely honest.
I mean,
It was just so
only
slow.
4
I was like, I
episodes.
gotta just start season 2 and like jump right in, and I'm happy that I
Yeah.
did. I don't feel like I missed anything.
No, you really didn't, because it was mostly the same women anyway. So
Yeah.
like, you're fine. But that is going to be a fun one to talk about, and then we'll be back into our weekly rotation talking about these shows. Like we mentioned, we have what, a month and a half until, not even, until we get Real Housewives of New Jersey back. I watched the trailer,
My girl. Oh, what'd you think?
and it was kind of what I expected, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, there was nothing really like, oh my God, I'm so excited. It's kind of like, oh, the women from New Jersey are yelling at each other again.
Yeah.
And knowing that, I think part of it is, like I said to you, is knowing what we know about Teresa and Melissa's relationship and Joe, like her husband's relationship, that I'm hoping we get some gaps filled in. But like, I know that they're not getting along. I don't need a 3-minute trailer to show me this. So
I'm just
there was
excited
that.
to see finally what gets us to this point, because it's been like 12 years of them or more,
Yeah.
of them like hating each other and then pretending that they don't hate each other when they obviously do hate each other. And now it's like, what got them to the point to say like, no, we actually hate each other and we're not even going to try anymore. We just hate each other. Like that, I'm curious. And I also just want to see Louis threaten Joe Gorga's life. Like I said yesterday, like I was excited for it. I'm here for it. I'm Team Louis for now, but I will walk it back if I need to. But I'll never be Team Joe Gorga ever. That I can confidently say.
Do we think we're getting our Hug 3 soon?
Yeah, probably. I'm actually surprised we haven't gotten like an official trailer. I know they had one at BravoCon, but I'm surprised that there's been no news on a date.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything.
I'm
We just
looking.
know, or we know just how wild season 3 is going to be thanks to the producers. This is straight from BravoCon 2022.
Yeah, it just says coming in 2023. Okay.
Yeah. I have to sneeze, so if I mute, that's why.
Well, bless you in advance. Yeah, I don't
It
see
happened.
anything at all about the date.
Yeah.
Probably after Miami, because I can't imagine they're doing two. Well, no, I don't know, because they did do Miami and the first Ultimate Girls Trip at the same time, right? On Peacock. That was like the Peacock push of.
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, it probably is coming soon.
Was Dubai only Peacock? Or was
No,
Dubai? Okay.
Dubai was on the
All right. Yeah, well, all right. We've got some stuff coming up. We are currently probably like square in the middle of Salt Lake and Potomac, unless one of these seasons is, I mean, I don't want Potomac to be shorter. Potomac could stay on longer and it's fine, but
Potomac could stay on year round. Like, give me Big Brother
yeah.
live feeds of the Potomac women. I'll watch them.
Yeah, honestly though, and hopefully we'll end with Salt Lake soon because
Yeah.
I don't know. It needs a good shakeup. Not no anything we've got going on right now. It's just not working.
Yeah. Feels like it's going to end somewhat soon since they filmed the reunion already.
Oh yeah, that's true. Maybe we'll get lucky.
Maybe.
All right. Well,
Great.
Katie, what are you doing on the internet these days?
You can find me on Twitter and all of the Twitter alternatives at RealSimKatie. Think of one and I'm probably on there, not posting anything with the username RealSimKatie. You can also find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/RealSimKatie with an underscore. And you can listen to our Potomac recap or catch up, whatever you want to call it, that we recorded yesterday, both on YouTube and anywhere you listen to your podcasts. And we'll be recording the challenge recap soon, tomorrow maybe, I think we talked about, but
Yeah.
TBD. We'll confirm it. And then soon you can listen to us talking about the traders along with Javier, Traders US. And that's really it. I don't really have that much else going on. It's a lull for me on silent podcasts these days, which is nice. It's nice to be able to take some time and chill.
Yeah. Sometimes doing like 3, 4, 5 podcasts a week, you're like, how did I talk so much? But Sometimes it's needed. So
Sometimes.
I'm KGD26 on the internet. Today, you can catch me tweeting about my lack of understanding of why parents participate in Elf on the Shelf. Like, I don't get it. Why would you do that?
I didn't grow up with Elf on a Shelf. Like, this was
Me
not a
neither.
thing. Yeah.
It was past, I think it was created like somewhat recently,
Oh, okay.
like within the last maybe 10 years. Like, when did
I'm literally Googling it right now.
Elf on the Shelf start?
2005, the book came out. So that's like way, I
Okay.
was like
Yeah.
in my 30s in 2005.
No,
Not really,
you
but
weren't.
no, I wasn't, but I may as well have been.
Because I was like, okay,
No,
I
I
graduated
wasn't.
high school in 2006, so there's no way you were in your
Yeah, no,
30s.
I was not. I was not.
Otherwise, you've been in your 30s for 2 decades.
And I will continue to be in my 30s for decades to come. It says journalism. Here we are. See, we're doing our research.
Yeah, we've
2005.
had some like thoughtful responses to things
Mm-hmm.
tonight. Yesterday
We
we talked
tried.
about centimeters. Like, we're an educational podcast.
We are. We are.
So yeah, if you want to engage with me on Elf on the Shelf, like please follow me on Twitter. If you have a good reason for it, I would love to know. But to me, it seems fucking excessive and very annoying. I just can't imagine having to hide this elf in different places. And then, like, are you going to reuse the places the next year? And do you start on December 1st? Like, how long does this
Yeah, I
elf
don't
have
know
to be hidden
anything.
for? I saw this woman I worked with at camp like post a reel complaining about like hiding Elf on the Shelf, and it's like you could just choose to not do it. Like,
You didn't have to choose to do it to start with.
yeah, like you could just not have this elf exist in your house. I tweeted and the woman who was at Challenge Mania and saw the woman um
Threatened to kill you.
threaten my life. Yeah, she replied and she's like, that elf never made it into my house. It's like, you're a smart woman
Very
because
smart.
why would you want to commit to it? I saw a TikTok of the wife was like, this is why my husband doesn't do Elf on the Shelf. And the husband had put the elf kind of like sitting on a chandelier, but its like face was against the light bulb and it melted the middle of
Oh my
the face
god, how
in.
horrifying.
Exactly. And
That's
I
pretty
don't know.
funny.
Of all the things I've ever seen about Elf on the Shelf, I've never once seen a positive thing. It's either like, fuck this, or like, this is so annoying. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I just have not seen any positive things of Elf on the Shelf. So I just want to know why. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm tweeting about these days. In terms of podcasting, like Katie said, we're going to be talking about the challenge probably tomorrow. And we are going to, and by we I mean me, and then whoever else I talk to, I guess, will be covering the circle, which comes back in less than a week. I have to reach out to, some circle people, but yeah, that's coming back. We'll be getting 3 or 4 episodes next week, so I'll be on the podcasting mic talking about that. I have to make a confession. I'm really not excited for it.
Me neither. I'm gonna watch it
Like,
just because like I have to, but I'm done with the circle, I think, like as a show that I care about.
I just don't like the concept. My least favorite strategy in the circle is flirting.
Yeah, and the total
And
season is flirting.
yeah, it's like circle singles. Like,
Yeah.
I already know I'm going
No
to
one
hate
asked for
it. And
this.
so I'm going in with very low expectations and maybe I can be surprised, but this is not the direction I wanted the circle to take.
I just miss the UK circle. It was such
Oh,
a high tier product. Put the Netflix
yeah.
one to shame.
Although they're by like the same people, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense. British people are
Right?
just superior, apparently. What can we say?
The last season of the UK circle is the reason we aren't getting any more seasons of the
I
UK
know.
circle, though.
Because of Gemma or whatever her name was. The guy who
I
played
think it
Gemma.
was quite a few of them, but yeah,
Mm.
he like probably led the revolution with
Yeah.
exposing a lot of stuff
Well, thanks a
that's
lot,
why
sir.
that's why I think it's kind of funny that like the American one is still going because it's by the same people. Like maybe
Yeah,
they just think that like news dies over the ocean.
it kind of does, unless you really seek it out, to be fair.
Yeah. Yeah. So Circle will be back. We'll see how it goes. I am kind of not excited, but I'll keep my expectations low. Maybe it'll surprise me. Otherwise, that's really it. I will say if you aren't watching UK Traders, it ended today. No spoilers, but definitely worth watching. I was just like in suspense. I was excited. I was sad,
I
and
can't
like
wait.
all the above in this last episode. Um, but UK Traders, definitely check it out if you haven't. I know we have some coverage happening over here on Silent Podcast.
Yes.
All right, so let's show you the other things I have to do. You can follow us on Twitch and YouTube, Silent Podcast. Search them, subscribe. That's where you can participate in our live chat where we got those questions today from Agna. Again, thank you. We love those. And you can also see us on Twitter, silent_podcast, where we'll keep you updated on what we're doing. You can also listen to us in podcast form, Apple, Spotify. Start building up those Spotify Wrapped minutes now.
Yeah. It's time.
Low key, I hate Spotify Wrapped.
Same. So do I.
I have my least favorite part is when people are like, oh my God, this is like so on brand. Like, no fucking shit. It's
Yeah,
data
it's
for you.
your account. So,
Yeah.
of course, it's on brand. What are you talking about?
So, but yeah, build it up because
Yeah.
we like to see. Our podcast with Melissa was the number one for us on Spotify.
Oh, how about that?
Isaiah sent me that screenshot. So if you want to listen
Thanks,
to the
Isaiah.
number one podcast,
Yes, listen to our conversation with Melissa Howard.
now
Melissa
known as
Beck.
Melissa Beck.
Melissa Beck. My bad.
Or just the host of it. That's us, where we podcast together all the time. But you can do that.
True.
Apple, Spotify, rate, subscribe, 5 stars. I thought we kept this short, sweet, complained a lot. We said nice things about Lisa Barlow. We gave intelligent answers to questions. So I don't know why this wouldn't be 5 stars for you.
Hello.
We talked about Elf on the Shelf. Like,
yeah.
What else could you need in a podcast? The correct answer is nothing.
Not much.
Yeah. So give us those 5 stars, leave a rating. Isaiah always sends those to us in a screenshot. And so when they're nice, they make my day. Otherwise, we have nothing else for you. We'll be back probably with a Miami episode next. That will depend on Katie's warp speed of watching them. And then we'll be back on a regular weekly schedule talking about all of these women.
Yep. And we'll talk about the challenge too, if you are into that kind of thing. So
yeah, if you're into the challenge, come check that out.
Mm-hmm.
Until next time, thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.